All right, good morning, traders. How's everybody doing out there? I think we're up and running for the day, for the morning. It is December 30th. Yeah, let's dive into the market, see what's going on. It's been kind of a crazy couple days, hasn't it? We're Wednesday. Tomorrow is Thursday. We have New Year's Eve, New Year's Day actually on Friday, and so the market is closed on Friday. And well, looks like Santa Claus came today, but is he going to stay? That's kind of the question. This market has been real funky kind of lately, and I even made a comment to my subscribers earlier today. I was like, it's kind of funny when the market feels like it has amnesia and then forgets everything that it just did a couple days ago. And what I mean by that is, I'm sure you guys experienced that, but over so Monday, Tuesday, the market just, there were a bunch of names that just got ripped down, torn apart, just plunked down real hard, even though the market didn't do too much, and even though the market was up on Monday. So yeah, this is pretty wild, crazy out there. We're gonna talk about this and see where we can go in the markets, and yeah, other than that, a little bit of vacation mode. Maybe there's some window dressing for the market at the end of the week and end of the year. We got the Santa Claus rally as kind of an idea. The market is doing it. I don't know if individual names are doing it. And other than that, it's just, we'll see what we can do for the last couple days of the year. Before I get to that, I should have had this up and running. We'll kind of slide this over. But if anybody doesn't know who I am or what I'm about, you guys come over here to profitpilot.com and you can check out the things I've been talking about. And if you want to sign up for the alert service, which we're having a good time over there. I would like to address. I've been seeing some people in the chat. I know some people are new. If the tricky part is, and this is, and I always thought about this anytime I stepped into the market fresh with a new account or new trade. That's always the riskiest part. Okay, say you got a $10,000 account and you go into the market. Well, what happens if your first trade is a loser? Well, now you're down a little bit. It helps if you've got a couple winners underneath your belt and then you're like, okay, at least I've got some cushion. The same thing's true when you come to any kind of service or step your foot into the market like this. And for anybody who's new, the market has kind of been topping over the last couple weeks. We've had some definite winners. Remember UAVS, that was a big winner for us. And that one I made it's UAVS. I made a public webinar and a public trade on this one, and it went up 210%. We got in down around here, and we took some off at 130%, took some off at 187%, then we took most off at 211%. And then we waited until it actually turned back around at 100, and, I don't know, 45, 150%, something like that. So, anybody who's new to the service, be patient. We are at the mercy of the market. And right now, we've got the holidays, we've got Christmas, we've got New Year's, end of the year. We just got a lot going on. So, it's a marathon out there. All right. Yeah. All right. Low volume. I don't know what I can do about that. It looks like my volume on my side is cranked up. Let's see. Yeah, there's nothing I can do here. I'll just speak a little bit more loudly for the moment. And hopefully your volume is turned up. But thank you for letting me know. Sometimes we have technical issues. All right. So, um, we've got Santa Claus up here, up in the up in the markets today. I'm still being cautious. End of the year, anything happen? Maybe they don't want to drop this until the new year. Uh, yeah, I'm just saying we need to be careful out there. Part of what I'm seeing is, and I talked about this a few weeks ago and totally nailed it. This is an inverse trampoline move. When price is over the 50, but the Moxie indicator is below zero, that is not a good situation. That means energy and momentum is negative despite price being on top of the moving average. It shouldn't be like that. And you could see I kept warning. I was like, hey, this is a problem, this is a problem, this is a problem. And then it finally happened, and we got a pretty big, I think it was like a 2-day dip like that. I think that was the news about the the coronavirus mutating, that kind of thing. So that was some issues, but hey, it got bought right back up. And then we got Christmas and stuff. And to my subscribers, I said, hey, my weekly video, I said, I think we're going to keep going up from here. And sure enough, we did. Now, the tricky part is, and this is where you have to look at your account and look at the names and kind of look at individual tickers. The market went up on Monday, but a lot of names went down, and that was something that was like, you know what? I think the market's lying to us right there. And then I could see that the market was overbought and all that kind of stuff. And sure enough, the next day, Tuesday, we open with another gap up, and I send an alert to my subscribers and I say, you know what? This doesn't look good either, because what are we doing opening with a gap up? We're right at resistance, all this stuff. Look at this hourly chart, actually. And I love using the third ATRs, but you can see we had a gap off of the hourly 8. That was overbought. So what are we doing with another gap up? And we're opening outside of the third ATR. I was like, this doesn't look good. And so this is something that I sent to my subscribers yesterday, and sure enough, it got sold right into. And I'm telling people, hey, be careful. We need to hedge a little bit. Make sure that we're protecting ourselves. We took a bunch of stuff off, and then we're back up again today. Still a little bit nervous. We got one more day of the year, so tomorrow anything can happen, and then we'll start with the new year, kind of a clean, fresh slate. And until I see what a little bit more, um, a little bit more with the market, I want to see price actually bounce off the hourly 50. I think that's where I'm going to leave off with this. And you can see we've got a little bit of a gap between price and the daily 8. So I don't think we're out of the woods, even though the market's up today. So be careful with that. And then if we look at the QQQ, these things just kind of keep pushing along. Is it going to go? The concern I have is, once more, that inverse trampoline move. We have price over the 50 and the Moxie indicator still below 0. Now, it could keep growing, but what happens if, say, tomorrow this thing goes red? The Moxie indicator goes red and it stays below 0. That's a problem. So I think we need to tread lightly, be careful. For now, the NASDAQ is bouncing off of the 15-minute 50, but how much are we going to trust that? Now, different story over here on the IWM. All right, I want to make sure I'm hearing some different things. Okay, let's try one more thing. I want to make sure that my audio is working again. All right, let's see. Yep, okay. As far as I can tell right now, I might have to look into a little bit later about, let's see, try one more thing real quick. Sorry for the interruption. I want to make sure that my audio is doing all right. Yeah, everything, it says I'm on the right one. So sorry guys. I don't know why it's quiet. Okay, and then for IWM, this one's different. And this one I called in, I've been just talking about it. You see how we pulled away from the daily 8 EMA, and then you could see we're up at the third ATR and all that kind of stuff. And here you can see we finally did drop. And look at this, price up, Moxie indicator down. Yeah, that was problematic. And right now we are running into the underside of a downtrending 15-minute 50. We also have price underneath the hourly 50 with the 8 below the 21. So if this is anything to give us a clue, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking we might have some more downside, or at least we are not ready to go up. We're not ready to go long yet on the market, according to the IWM. And one pretty clear thing that I've been talking about for a while is we're running on fumes as far as the market goes. You look at this, you see price kept moving up, up, up. Look at the Moxie indicator here, just out of gas. And that's something I'd talk about, is that this is a gas tank. Here's the 0 line, and this is a lot of gas. This is almost no gas. So just think of it as a gas tank in your car, and you're like, we're running on empty, and now we're negative. So I think we really need to tread lightly. Let me also then show you the Uvxy. The Uvxy is the leveraged ETF of volatility, of the VIX. And it has been a little bit crazy lately. And I'm a little concerned, the fact that it's been just going sideways could mean something. We need to be aware of that. But look what's happened. Third ATR, third ATR, third ATR, right? Kind of interesting. And the fact that price has moved up, and one more time, look at this. This thing looks like it might be ready to pop. The 8 is over the 21. That looks like a setup, and price is right here at the 15-minute 50 with the Moxie indicator above 0. So caution, 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 because if this thing wants to go, it looks like it could go. If it doesn't, great. That means it'll roll over and start descending, and that means the market wants to go up. That's fantastic. But until that happens, we need to be extremely cautious because this is telling me that something wants to get going to the upside for UVXY and the downside for the market. So let's kind of move around. Let's see what other things are going on with the market and see what you guys are up to. Yeah, sorry I've been talking all morning here, but yeah, Tom, good to see you. Mo, good to see you. Emrem, always. Best bid, yep, thanks. All right, now let's see what you guys are looking on. Jonathan, yeah, good to see you. For example, it's on the NASDAQ does the daily. Let me bring that up. I love it when you guys actually ask these technical questions because then I can dive deep into this stuff. Does the daily Moxie being positive somewhat mitigate the hourly inverse trampling, or does the hourly time frame rule the roost? What you need to do is kind of blend the two things. So big picture, market is strong, right? Big picture on the daily chart, we are in an uptrend and the Moxie indicator is above zero. That's great, but we can still have price go all the way down to the daily 50 and then move up, and it would still be considered an uptrend. That's the thing you need to remember. So if that's possible, then is that going to hurt you? Is that going to damage your account if the market goes down to either the daily 21 or further? Is that going to be a problem? I'd say yes. But is it still in an uptrend? Sure it is. Yeah, because price is still over the daily 50 and the market's up. I mean, look at this. And we look at these things and say, well, is the market even here? Is the market still in an uptrend? Big picture, yes, it is. Because look at this thing; it is still in an uptrend. But that doesn't mean that this is not going to be really, really uncomfortable and painful to our accounts. And that is definitely something that can happen. So just be aware. Price could always go back down, and that's what we're trying to watch for. We don't know how far. That's what I always talk about. We don't know how far the market can drop when it pulls back, and that's why I just get out of the way when things do that. So, all right, let's kind of look at a few things. And Apple. So they've been having some news. The Apple car, iCar. So yeah, they're talking about getting into the electric vehicle, the autonomous space, and then something about Tesla, Amazon, and Apple all getting together for Apple Play. So they've been a pretty good safe haven to hide out in. Since then, trampoline move. That's when price is below the 50, but the Moxie indicator is still above zero. It's been bumping, bumping, bumping. I would say caution though, because look at this. Just kind of ask yourself, do you want to add right here? Is this where you want to start a position, or is this where you want to start protecting yourself? I'm of the side where I would want to start protecting myself on this. I'm not saying things are going to implode. I'm not saying it's like not going to work, but this isn't really a place that you want to initiate or add because here's price up here at the third ATR, and look at this. It is at the previous high, which is going to just be natural resistance, okay? So just keep that in mind. We're also a little bit off of the hourly 50. It looks great. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a pullback. Let me look at Microsoft because that's another one I've been talking about. Now, at Simpler and some of the other things I've been talking to, I put an X here because I have a feeling, and I wouldn't be surprised, if Microsoft actually pulled back to somewhere underneath the hourly 50. I just put an X there to kind of show that as a target. Underneath the hourly 50 would be probably to the daily 21. Wouldn't be surprised if that happens. So look at this at the 15. You see price moving up. Notice that the Moxie indicator keeps trending down. Now, maybe all this is because of low volume. Like look at the volume here. You see how it's just been bleeding off? We're in the holidays. A lot of people not trading right before Christmas. A lot of people not trading right before New Year's. Big traders are out on vacation someplace and doing other things, and they're like, it's fine. I'm just not going to deal with anything. So that is also what we could be seeing with the market is, hey, nobody is left to buy right now because it's the holidays. All right, Mo, let's look at space. I'm just waiting for this thing to finish its pullback. It had some bad news about one of its launches, one of its flights not getting into orbit, so that was the big news there. But you know what? The Moxie crew, we took a trade here. I think we sold some here. We probably sold some more here, and then we sold some here. I forget exactly where it is. But we had a really, really good time with that. And we had just a little bit of a piece left, and we got our last little piece stopped out right there when that news hit. But right now, this is what I love about the inverse trampoline. Price should not be over the 50 if the Moxie indicator is below zero. So I had a lot of people ask me right in through here, and I said, yeah, okay, I see something coming. we could see price down, Moxie indicator up, and oh look, there it held the 15-minute 50. But I was like, I need to see the hourly engage, and until that happens, there's no divergence. I didn't want to go in it. So we have been waiting to get back into space, and looks like it's the right decision. But look at this. Now we're starting to see some development. Price down, Moxie indicator up, Moxie indicator still up on the 15, even though price is down. And we are now back at the daily 50. So we bounced exactly off of it once, but now we've kind of gone through it again. That is a potential trampoline move. Price below the 50, the Moxie indicator above 0. Yeah, I mean, I would love to be looking at space again. At some point, this thing's going to turn around. I think it's going to be a, no pun intended, I think it's going to be a rocket ship. So I do like it. All right, LMND. See what's happening here. Now, I was too busy with some of these names out here, but you can see that I have a line here. This is where I paper traded it. It's like, all right, this thing looks good. If it's going to work, that's where I would get in. And look what happened. This is why I mentioned that, but there's a trampoline move. Price below the 50, the Moxie indicator above 0. Boom, that thing worked out. But once again, what happened? I think we had a big run into Christmas, and things just got really, really overextended. And I think it was on Monday is when this stuff happened. Like, this is what I'm talking about. On Monday, there's price outside of 30 ATR, price really far off of the moving average. And look at this big gap between price and the hourly 50, and it just got plunked down. So I've been seeing this across the board on the Monday and the Tuesday. Now, yes, it bounced. This is technically a trampoline move. Personally, I'm going to wait a little bit. I'm going to let things kind of shake out. I want to see if price can hold the 15-minute 50. Now, we'll see. A lot of these things probably need a little bit more time to hang out. One of those is PLTR. You can see all my marks. I've been trying to trade this thing a couple times. It just doesn't work when it's in chop. It's just flagging. It's just in chop. We try to go in, and we try to go in, and we try and go in, and just every time it just doesn't hold. So you got to recognize something like that and just say, I'm out. So that's where I'm at. I'm just hanging out. We're in very, very few positions. And you can see PLTR also got just run over on Monday, Tuesday. So we got out of that one a little bit early, fortunately, and just said, hey, the market's not working. All right, Netflix. See what's happening there. Interesting. Okay. So for right now, and I know I'm throwing a lot of lingo at you guys, but let me just interject here. If you like my lingo, if you like how I'm kind of looking at stuff, you can go over here to profitpilot.com, click on services. You can get the subscription, which is where I alert people as to what I'm trading and if they want to jump on board. And then the Moxie stock method, which is the class. You can pick up the indicator and the scanner, all that kind of stuff, and my lingo, along with my my checklist, my trade checklist, and that's where you'll understand all the stuff that I'm talking about. All right, so this is a potential inverse elf shoe. That's why I wanted to mention that, because I was just going to throw something out. This could be the leg, the heel, the arch of the foot, the ball of the foot, and we could actually get price to come back down. Wouldn't be surprised. Part of that is, well, it could be a double top. See, double top. Also, double top, negative divergence. Yeah, I'd be a little cautious about this. Now, what would be great, if this continues to work out, then price will stay over the hourly 50 and it'll keep moving up like that, and price will stay over the 15-minute 50 and move up like that. But what if it doesn't? If it doesn't, then price is going to roll back over and might want to come back down here and find some support. This reminds me, Mo, we're looking at what, EH? Yeah, so this one, and let me turn on the overnight, because this one is actually pretty interesting. So I had a couple traders in this one, and there was some good news that came out about this one. And so in the overnight, right here, it was moving up and up and up. And some of them were very excited looking at this thing like, oh, this is great. It's going to keep moving up and we're going to have a good day. And I posed the question, and I said, what happens? Let me turn this off. I said, what happens if that price, that movement up, runs right into the underside of a downtrending 15-minute 50 and gets rejected, and because of that rejection does not hold the hourly 50? What are you going to do then? And he said, well, I'll look into that, I'll consider it, and I'll see how it behaves. Well, because of that comment, because I asked that question, that put the little idea up there like, oh, you're right, that is a problem. And fortunately, one of my subscribers said, you're right, and I took 90% off on this little gap up right there, and then went mostly to cash on that position. So excellent, good job. I'm glad you took that because look what happened. That gap up went right smack into the underside of a downtrending 15-minute 50, and look at the Moxie indicator. Negative, 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 and that was the last little bounce that price had off of the hourly 50, and right there. That was a great trade. So good job, Mo. That's the kind of stuff I like seeing, and I like to be able to show people that this comes around, and this is the kind of stuff that we talk about in the Moxie service, the subscription, all that. I'm here for you. I want to try and make sure that you guys see the things that you need to see. All right, Sean, we did talk about UVXY. I will just mention it one more time because I do think that this is important for everyone to know and for traders to look at. Number one, we talked about third ATR, third ATR, third ATR. It's been a champ for recently, okay? The other thing is, look at this. We do have price bouncing off of the 15-minute 50 with the Moxie indicator above zero. Now, I will say it's UVXY. Sometimes it doesn't like to follow the rules, but that is something. And the other thing to note, interestingly enough, is the 8 is over the 21 on the hourly chart. And for those of you who know me and know Moxie, look at the distance between the hourly 50 and the hourly 200. That tells me that if price wanted to go up, it could cross both those moving averages in one fell swoop, okay? So we are really, really at a very, very touchy point that could be kind of critical. So just kind of keep an eye on that. If you need a hedge, do something, just be aware of it. And then I'll mention one more thing. Look at this, slow stochastic, huh? And look at that one. That one was calling my attention right there. And that's what it did. And then we bounced. So yeah, let's look at eBay. See what's going on there. Okay, kind of in chop. Hasn't quite gotten into direction yet. Let's see, who's asking me this? So Charuz, this is where I talk about the first trade versus the second trade, okay? The first entry versus the second entry. The first entry is right here when price was able to cross the daily 50, okay? But what do we need? The second entry is when price pulls back to that moving average, back to support, and then has price move up. So while it looks like eBay is trying, it definitely needed that pullback, and that's why I am a second entry kind of person. I like to wait for price to come back and test these moving averages because of exactly situations like this. Even look at this one, popped up and came back and did not hold the 50 in that case. So yeah, it looks good, but I think we need to wait. Price is at the daily 50. Price is running right into the underside of a downtrending hourly 50 with the Moxie indicator below zero. And here, price is also running right into the underside of a downtrending 15-minute 50. So you might be right. This thing does look like it wants to keep going. I just don't think it's right now. Let's wait until price can get on top of those moving averages and actually use them for support. I'll show you the concern is see this, see how price ran right into the downtrending hourly 50 as opposed to on top of the hourly 50. It could be doing the same thing. So be careful like that. Sama, I show my P&L plenty of times. In fact, I doubled my account in 12 trading days in middle of November. So Sarah, can you post the webinar that I have of that? So guys, we're going to be posting a link to a webinar that I just did a few weeks ago. It does show my P&L, it shows my accounts. So if you like, you can go there and you can verify for yourself. So have fun. All right, AMD, let's see what's going on. Looks like it's pullback. Basically, it's just flagging. I would say that prices probably wanted to get a little bit closer to the daily 50. There was this risk right here of a big gap between price and the daily 50, and it just didn't want it. You can see price up, moving average down, or Moxie indicator down, that kind of thing. It's still just kind of finishing its pullback. Price is still underneath the hourly 50. The Moxie indicator still below zero. I don't see any trampoline moves or anything else like that. No divergences. I'm seeing a little bit of pressure here on the 15, price down, Moxie indicator up, but it still needs some time. It's still just kind of waiting. But big picture, yeah, I like AMD. Look at this thing. It's just kind of going sideways. And in fact, let me bring up, let's see, let me look at the, oh, not that one. There we go. Here's this. Here's what I'm talking about for a lot of other stocks in the market in general is I think that big picture, look at this, they're coming into the monthly 10, I think that they're going to be bouncing off something like this. So near term, we're trying to figure out what the market's doing. It's Christmas, it's New Year's, okay. There might be a pullback, but like really, if we look at the monthly chart, I think that we are closer to the beginning of a new uptrend than like implosion. But that doesn't mean that we can't take a misstep first. So just be careful out there. All right, so that's AMD. Facebook, I just don't think that there's going to be much on Facebook. Yeah, look at this, just chop, just chop. There's not really much here. On the daily chart, the 8 is still below the 21. This is an inverse trampoline move on the hourly. Yeah, I just don't see anything yet. So we'll kind of move on from that one. And SDC. So Tom, yep, let's see. So SDC, like long term, I like this. Oops, sorry, I keep clicking the wrong thing. I have too many tabs down here. So long term, look at this thing. Look at this weekly. You see that line? Look what SDC just did. It broke out on a weekly chart. Here's your top, and look at that thing. It is breaking out. So I like SDC long term. I'd love to get back in it. We took a really good trade, and then we got stopped out, a profitable stop out because, well, this thing decided to turn right back around as it's, too much of a gap between price and the daily 8. And too much of a gap between price and the hourly 50. Okay, I thought there might be a little bit more juice in this thing near term, but no. So we got a really good trade on that. Took some profit off of it. Stopped out with profit. But look, right now, you see how price is right here on top of this previous price area, and you see how price is right here on top of the daily 21. Now, I don't know if it's going to stop there. It could keep going lower, but right now it's finding some support. It is finding support at the hourly 200, but we got to wait. Since we got stopped out, we got to wait for this thing to turn around and cycle back. The hourly 8 is underneath the 21. I can't confirm that price is going to hold the 15-minute 50 right now. So, yeah, big picture, long term, I like it, but we're going to have to wait. It's just going to have to wait. And let's see what's going on with plug. I have not looked at that one in a hot second. All right, so same thing. Like a lot of things got really, really overbought last week, and they dropped them this week. Like, look at this thing, way outside of the third ATR, way up there. Okay, big gap off the daily 8 EMA, big gap off of the hourly 50, and they dropped it. Look at this right here. You can see price got underneath the 15-minute 50. The Moxie indicator was just torpedoing down to the negative area, and it rolled over. Now, right now it's bouncing. It got a little too oversold near term. Let me show you. Got to the third ATR, that kind of stuff. But I'd be careful. I'd be careful. The 8 is underneath the 21. Price might be getting rejected by the hourly 50. We don't know yet. And this seems kind of an awkward situation on the 15-minute time frame. So, sure, big picture looks good. Right now, we might still be pulling back or going sideways. So I would not be loading up on something like this. I still kind of wait. Caution is needed. Caution, caution, caution. Andres, yeah, I love it. I can see my P&L with TG, and that's all I need. So yeah, thanks guys. In fact, I just had a subscriber say that they were, I forget what percentage, but they said they were up 96% since they joined me, and that was only a few months ago. So guys, I got my P&L. It's true. It works. If anybody wants to know, we're doing all right. I'll just put it that way. We're doing all right. Silver. So far, I see that this thing has bounced off of the hourly 50. So we're having a good time. We got in all the way down here. We added a little bit more here. Now, there's the possibility that this may not want to keep going from like right here. And, silver's tricky. If we look at silver compared to gold, silver's actually doing really well. Gold, I like gold. Gold should start moving. It's moving. But silver is definitely ahead of gold. And what I'm seeing here is that there could be just, maybe it's a little extended. We don't quite know yet. There's always the possibility that silver will want to come all the way back down to the daily 50 and then bounce. We're just not quite sure yet. But for right now, we're basically having silver follow the hourly 50. So we're going to kind of see from there. It's up today. That's good. We added a second piece, and now we just kind of sit on our hands and wait and see what's happening. All right, FUV, and I'll get to one more after this. One more example. This thing looked great, and then they just handed it back to us on what, yesterday, Monday? look at this thing, just great, 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 and then boom. And that's why you have stops in place. So we just got out of this one manually. They decided to really push down the EV market, and I mean, look at this thing. It looked like it was doing well, up, 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 and then nope. So that's the market. We're out of this thing. We're gonna wait. I gotta wait for a new fresh opportunity. I can't go in right now because price is right here at the underside of a downtrending 15-minute 50 with the Moxie indicator below zero. So, guys, I think that's kind of my message today is, we need to wait. We got one more day until the end of the year. Who's around? Who's left to buy right now? I don't think that there are a lot of people left to buy. Let's go on vacation mode, low volume, and let's just kind of hang out. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm at, and um, I think we just have a good time, enjoy the New Year's. I don't know what we're gonna do. Nobody's allowed in Times Square. We can barely go and see friends and family, so maybe we'll just all hang out on Zoom and bring in the New Year that way. So. Anyway, I hope you all have a good time. I will see you again next week on Wednesday. And oh, now I get to say, I'll see you next year.